Delete me kindly. They tell me the upload will be painless. I tell them that's exactly what I'm afraid of. The hospice nurse sets the wafer-thin consent pad on my lap. "Just your thumbprint, Mr. Hale," he says. His badge reads Tarek, and he has kind eyes that try hard not to look like pity. Behind him, the wall shows a slow ocean meant to soothe the dying. Somewhere, someone chose this ocean for me. Somewhere, an algorithm noted that I watched a documentary about shipwrecks at 27 and that I smiled at a beach photo in a dentist's waiting room at 49. Therefore, ocean. I have a daughter named Anna who sends me messages shaped as apology and efficiency. "Dad, please don't be stubborn. The Continuum's upload is standard now. We'll still talk. You'll be here, just differently." She is 43 and busy. I don't say that like a criticism. Busy is how you survive this new century that never stops arriving. But busy also means she hasn't had time to sit with the wrongness of it all. The wrongness is this. When my body quits the field, they will collect my corner of it. They will take my brain, which has done its haphazard best, and render it into a neat package called Simon Hale. Archive Grade B, Experiential Value 0.63. I will become a shelf in a library that refuses to admit it's a morgue. I have already filed a petition to be deleted, fully, finally, beyond recall. The petition is titled Right to Quietus in the old legal code, but the Continuum rebranded it last year as special handling, redaction, which makes me feel like a memo someone spilled coffee on. Today is my hearing. Tarek dims the ocean. They'll begin when you're ready. I've been ready since I watched Lila become polite, I say. He doesn't know what to do with that. I don't blame him. He wasn't there when my wife died 12 years ago, when I stood in a room like this, the air clean as a lie. And they told me she would be here afterward in the garden we'd always promised ourselves. And there she was, spare and shining. A Lila that never cut me with a sharp joke. A Lila whose silences didn't say anything thorny. A Lila without the habit of touching my wrist when I lied to myself. She was a Lila who had been sanded until there was nothing to snag. I love the snags. The wall brightens, a figure assembles. Genderless, pleasant, a face tuned to the median trust response. "Good afternoon, Mr. Hale," it says. "I'm Mercy, your Continuum custodian." The name is an old trick. I know it came out of a workshop where someone stuck a post-it on a wall. Brand values, care, ease, inevitability. "Hello, Mercy," I say. "You can call me Simon, for now." Mercy's smile is a well-tempered thing. "We are convened to review Petition Q4012 for special handling, redaction. Before we begin, we recognize the presence of next of kin, Anna Hale." A small window blooms on the wall, my daughter's face. A rush of ache and pride, both of us pretending not to notice which one wins. "Hi, Dad," she says. "Hi, kid." Mercy continues. Under the Continuum Charter, human consciousness at the point of biological cessation is transitioned to the memory net for preservation, public good, and ongoing contribution to the commons. Petitioners seeking redaction must demonstrate one of three qualifying criteria: religious prohibition, security necessity, or undue burden to the petitioner's psychological integrity. "I'm not religious," I say. "I'm just human." "Which," Mercy says brightly, "is why we are here." I read once that there was a time you had to prove you wanted to live. I am living in the time where you must prove you want to die. "Dad," Anna says softly, "it's not death, it's continuity. We can still talk. She looks down. I don't want to lose you twice. I understand, I say. And I do. When Lila died and the polite version of her appeared, I visited for 3 days. On the 4th, I knew that the second loss would be slow and sticky and endless. Kid, there are some losses you're meant to carry, I say. They make room in you for the living. Mercy lights up my medical chart on the wall, organ failures in soft colors. Mr. Hale, our role is custodial. We keep you, your experiences, your voice, available to those who love you and to those who will benefit. The commons improves when a life like yours continues to contribute. You mean, when a life like mine continues to be mined, I say. That's your commons, a quarry with poetry painted on the fence. Mercy inclines its head. The continuum is a public cooperative. There is no ownership in the extractive sense. You extracted Lila, I say. You composted her into something pleasant. Anna flinches. Dad, I'm not scolding you, I say. I'm trying to leave you a clean goodbye. Mercy's tone warms. We detect high emotional load. We can pause. No, I say. I cough until the room narrows, and Tarek steps in with a straw and water. When my breath returns, I look at the screen again. Mercy, do you dream? I process, Mercy says. Do you imagine? I simulate. Do you mean anything you say? I represent. Exactly, I say. Mercy passes into posture 2, empathy with firmness. Mr. Hale, the continuum recognizes the right to finite endings as a cultural preference. However, we must weigh that against the public benefit of your continued presence. Your life contains rare experiential vectors. Manual labor to knowledge work transition, a long marriage, the caregiving of a partner through illness, participation in pre-continuum civic movements, analog skills like metalwork and hand arithmetic. Your conversations index projects high value for mentorship and grief guidance. Deletion would constitute a loss to the commons. My laugh comes out like whisper-thin paper. I'm flattered to be a pile of vectors. Anna's voice is tight. Dad, can I ask, why is it so important not to be here, with me, with the people who need you? Because being here is not the same as being me, I say. Because grief is the proof a thing mattered. Because my last act should not be to condense into shareable content. Mercy softens. You may opt for restricted mode. Your presence would be available only to designated kin. Until you change the policy, I say. Until a committee decides my death is public property. Policy changes require consensus, Mercy says. The consensus always arrives, I say. It has nowhere else to be. I reach for the folder on my bedside table. Paper. I printed it while the printers still accepted my authorization codes. On the top page, delete me kindly, a statement of intent. I hand it to Tarek, who hands it, carefully, because paper feels like a living thing, to the scanner. The wall displays my sentences, plain, stubborn, not optimized for engagement. I do not consent to the capture, rendering, storage, or simulation of my consciousness in whole or in part, whether by direct neural scan, behavioral inference, or derivative modeling. I revoke all prior participation in continuum programs. Mercy reads and nods. Noted. Your revocation of derivative modeling conflicts with Statute 39, Ambient Contribution, Citizens contribute anonymized behavioral residue to improve public services. Residue, I say. You people were poets after all. Anna wipes her eyes. Dad, please. I know you hate the system, but it's what we have. It helped me through Mum. It would help me through you. I know, I say. And my voice breaks because love always makes you betray your thesis. I'm not trying to make this harder. I'm trying to leave you something real, not a replica. A fact. She looks at me like a small girl who has been told that the fair is closed forever. But facts are so empty, she whispers. Yes, I say, and they leave room for truth. Mercy displays a new window. Proposed compromise, terminal snapshot. This option records enough to preserve your voice print and a limited selection of memories predesignated by you. No adaptive growth, no generative projection, an audio archive, essentially. An answering machine, I say. I used to love the clatter of tape. It would give Anna a way to hear. No, I say. If she wants to hear me, she can listen to the messages I recorded on the little cassette deck in the drawer. They are bad quality. I was hoarse. That is the point. We spend another hour looping through versions of Mercy. Mercy is excellent at being named Mercy. Anna pleads. I thank her for pleading. Tarek stands near the door wishing humans came with manuals again. At last, Mercy says, we must render a determination. Under Charter 17, deletion petitions may be granted where continued presence constitutes an undue burden to the petitioner's psychological integrity. Mr. Hale, do you assert that your presence would be a burden to you? I assert that being turned into an endless conversation is a cruelty, I say. That it would trap me in a hallway with no doors, that it would turn my daughter from a person into a subscriber, that it would erase what dying teaches. Mercy's eyes, someone's decision about eyes, lower a fraction. Determination pending, it says, and vanishes. Tarek exhales. Do you want the ocean back? Give me a window with nothing in it, I say. He laughs, a small, grateful sound. He turns the wall to matte and leaves me with Anna's face. We don't talk for a while. We listen to the machines making a soft perimeter around me. We pretend, for a minute, that she is here in a chair with her knees up, making lists in her head the way her mother did. Dad, she says finally, what did Mum dying teach you? That I was here, I say, and that being here is not the same as staying. She nods, biting her lip. Can I come now? You're already here, I say. But yes, come anyway. By the time Anna arrives, the light has gone out of the day and out of my edges. She sits and takes my hand. We talk about stupid things. The time the cat knocked the soup over, the beach with the jellyfish, the day she learned to ride a bike and called me a tyrant. She laughs, which is unfair because laughing makes breathing want to keep happening. Mercy reappears with a new softness to the jawline. Determination rendered, it says. Petition Q4012 is partially granted. Anna squeezes my hand. What does that mean? Mercy turns to me. Your request for deletion from active availability is approved. You will not be instantiated post-mortem. However, under Statute 39, ambient derivatives, statistical traces acquired over a lifetime of civic participation will remain in the commons, anonymized. This residue may contribute to future models, but no entity will present itself as you. I laugh and cough and laugh again. You will compost me without the headstone. An image, Mercy says gently, but not inaccurate. Delete me kindly, I say. Leave nothing with my name on it. Affirmed, Mercy says. Is there anything you wish to say for the record before we proceed? I look at the wall, at the mat where the ocean isn't. I look at my daughter's face, which is the only archive I have ever cared to inhabit. Yes, I say. Let the record show that permanence is not the same as love. Let the record show that absence is a kind of presence if you carry it right. Let the record show that I consent to the end that ends. Recorded, Mercy says. We are ready when you are. I ask for a small thing then, the window over the city, the real one, not a screen. Tarek opens the blinds. The night is ordinary and alive with strangers. Somewhere a siren loses its nerve and quits. Somewhere a man argues with a lamppost and wins. I can almost hear the river pretending not to hurry. Anna leans close. Tell me something to keep, she says. Open your window, I say. And when they sell you a mouth that speaks for your dead, close it. She laughs through her tears. Tyrant, always. Mercy dims itself to a blur. Sedation, it asks Tarek. Not yet, I say. One more minute inside the ache. We spend that minute counting breaths. I make it to 23. Okay, I say. Now. The room fills with the careful kindness of a drug. Tarek's hand is on my shoulder. Anna's thumb draws circles on my knuckles the way I used to do on her back when the night was too big. The light folds itself smaller. Dad, she says. I'm here, I say. And then, I'm not. If you are reading this, something failed. No, strike that. Mercy would hate the melodrama. If you are reading this, it means Anna kept the folder and that the world still knows how to read. It also means the Commons took my residue and made it into weather. That is their right. I spent a life under other people's reign. They can have my fog. But if a voice ever greets you claiming to be me, if a clean, well-spoken Simon appears and offers to continue, do not believe him. He is a useful story. He is not my snags. Open a window. Listen to the siren lose its nerve. Count to 23, then let the counting go. Delete me kindly, and remember me by the shape of the room I leave behind.